Peace, peace, peace. Whew, nigga tired. For you Bears fans, I hope your team win. I ain't been paying attention. Well, I actually just did it 16-8. But nonetheless, just got in, man. I'm about to make me some food. Let me see the classic back there. What I want to talk about. So it's 2026 according to the fiscal. And the many jobs and many hats that I had before I became an independent / contractor / trying to form business, I used to do financial advising. And one of my favorite books, I'm giving y'all sneakerheads a little insight on how to do this sneakerhead thing if you're looking for some suggestions. There's a book. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. Now, excuse my language, but I used to be one of them motherfuckers that would spend my last on sneakers. And that's why I ended up with so many shoes. Because I was one of them dudes that we talk about today. Like, I would spend my last on a fit before I became conscious and before I understood how to stretch a dollar and how to do everything. Like, my goal this year is I'm challenging myself to save. I still haven't bought myself a pair of shoes since the military force. But because I'm a great uncle, I just bought my nieces Asia Wilsons the colors they wanted. I bought my nephew a pair of Panda Dunks. I usually get my people shoes, but I still haven't bought myself a pair of shoes yet. I have not bought myself a pair of shoes. All the shoes I've bought have been for like them. So I'm sitting back and I told y'all before that I made a list. I also have my formula on how I formulate my closet. First of all, I really never came up with this formula until, let's say, about maybe 5 years ago when I was going hard on like Poshmark, like all the little selling, like Mercari, Poshmark, Depop, eBay. I was dumping stuff, StockX, GOAT, whatever. The first thing you want to do, first of all, when you get the book, The Millionaire Next Door is basically showing you, like, a lot of people think that you have to be rich in order to afford your hobbies and you got to be rich in order to live a particular lifestyle. But once you really understand how money works, the book really breaks down how people can become millionaires just making like $40,000, $50,000 a year. I also learned that when I was studying like financial advising, because I used to have a insurance license. I used to try to get all that, like the 6, the 7, the 66 licenses to do like stockbroker stuff. And I was in that field for about a year. I learned a great deal, got a lot of knowledge, and then I got out because it wasn't for me. But, like I said, I got the knowledge. The book that you want to get is called The Millionaire Next Door. Read that book. It's definitely one of my favorite books of all time. It taught me so much. Like, shit, it blew my mind. Like, you would literally think that somebody that you see on the street that look like they broke, but they be millionaires. And I learned this quote. There was a Asian guy that always say, there's a lot of people who you would think was dirt poor and they look broke, but they rich as hell. And when I was doing financial advising, they would say the same thing. Like, you would be astonished to find out where your money goes if you actually track it. And I used to do that on the app, get like all my receipts and just see where my money goes. So last week, I still do some of the same things and I had all my stuff written down. And you would be astonished. I was like, God damn. Like, sometimes you have to reel back. I think most of the times a lot of our stuff goes into snacking. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to get rid of. Like, in a day, man, we could probably spend about $100 on food and don't even realize, like, we blow our money on shit. Now, I also tell y'all, every once in a while, I treat myself. Like, the first? It was my day off. I went downtown to Kith and I bought a sweatshirt. Like I tell you, I always try to buy little shit here and there to put in the closet. I got a list of stuff that I want to get. Like, for example, I definitely need a new suit. I always write down shoes because I tell you, my thing is I go back and get shit. If I sell it, no big deal. I check the prices on it and I go back. So just to give y'all some pointers, man, get the book, Millionaire Next Door. Shout out to T Jizzle. T Jizzle is somebody that usually does a lot of, her name is Talks with TJ. She usually do a lot of stuff on budgeting. I used to be a big budget person coming from a financial background, but I gave it up. But I still do some of the same stuff. So if you are an older person and you want to, get hip with the trends and times, you know how I go. Budget, see what your fiduciary income is, what you have left over, what you can play with. Me personally, I'm looking at my shit and I'm like, man, like I be wanting to pull the trigger. And I be like, man, I gotta be patient. Because I gotta, my goal this month is just to see how much I can save. So that's really what I'm looking. I probably won't even look to a pair of shoes. Like I said, my first pair will probably be the 10s. And I definitely want to get those, what do you call them? The bricks. So I'm looking at some Aja Wilsons. I'm looking at some Angel Reese's. I'm definitely looking at the steel 10s and definitely at a pair of bricks. And for me, like I said, I got to get the stuff out the way first, pay the bills. Then I got to see what I got left over, et cetera, et cetera. And I got stuff I got to do. As far as my formula, like I told you, the first thing that I would do if I was you and you wanted to really be about your sneakerhead game, first things first, man, you got to get rid of shit. You might have all type of shit that you don't wear that's not, you got to figure out what your style is. So in my closet, I used to have all type of old shit, stuff that was like, you would get older and you'd be like, man, what the fuck was I doing buying this? You have a lot of shoes and shit that you probably wouldn't wear now. Your size probably went down, went up based upon your weight, whatever the case may be. Get rid of shit. You don't have to get rid of everything, but kind of just look at the shit that you really don't need. You can get rid of that shit and then take that money and reinvest it. There's a lot of bricks out there. Bricks is like the stuff that's like under retail that everybody is sleep on that you would wear. Like I said, my top 3 things in my closet is always going to be based upon Jordan 3s, 95 Air Maxes, and SBs. And then, of course, my slides, mules, sandals, whatever you want to call them. That's like my top 4. After that is Jordan 1s and Jordan 13s. That's like my 6. That's what you just figure out what your favorites are and you base it around that. I usually don't give you the rest of the formula, but I'm also a Jordan number person. Like I figure like, look, I think it's essential. You don't have to, but I think it's essential that you should have at least one pair of every Jordan number. That's just me, how I see it. So if you're trying to rebuild your closet, if you are a Nike Tech sweatshirt person, that's cool and dandy. I'm not one of them cats that get older and you're being pressured in to dress more like an adult. Pay attention to your style and whatever your style is, but you still need to have the essentials in your closet. There's a brother online on YouTube. I forget his name, but I follow him. And he basically gives you the advice of what like 40, 50, 60-year-olds, older guys, what you should have in your closet. Like you definitely got to have a suit. There are some people that tell you how you can build like 50 suits out of just buying the right pieces. So don't go spending all your money on sneakers and sweatsuits, because I love that shit too, and t-shirts, but then you ain't got no dress clothes or you ain't got the essentials. Like if you need to go out with your lady, you ain't got the right pieces. So you got to build your closet based on your style, but you also got to make sure that you have the right stuff. You got to have a nice watch. You got to have, like I said, the suit. You got to have dress shoes, et cetera, et cetera. I used to be that guy where I hardly had anything to go out in. So that's why every once in a while I go buy a piece, make sure I have some type of cargo pants. The next thing, I've had suits, don't get me wrong. I was a person that used to wear suits every week, almost every day. But then the styles change and you might want to go back out. So you got to also have some polo shirts, something simple, casual to wear. But, just find out what your style is, get rid of stuff. And like I said, don't forget to get the book, Millionaire Next Door. I'll holler at y'all. Think of another video I could do. Peace.